Today we are going to go over irregular verbs. Irregular verbs in the present tense are loose cannon verbs. They do not play by the rules. We've learned a certain set of rules for conjugating AR, ER, IR verbs in the present tense. Irregular verbs do not follow that pattern. There are three types of irregular verbs in the present tense. There are stem changers, also called boot verbs. There are irregular yo form verbs. And there are completely irregular verbs that follow no pattern whatsoever, and we will go over each type right now. Okay, first thing up, we have stem changers, also called boot verbs. The two examples that I'd like to work with are jugar, which is to play, as in a sport or a game, and then querer, to want. So first thing off the bat, this is wrong. Do not do this, okay? But when we have jugar, to play, normally, when we're conjugating a regular present tense AR verb and we want to say I play, we follow the steps. We start with the infinitive, which is just the unconjugated verb. We chop off the AR and we're left with hug, right? And then we add the yo form ending, which is o, so hugo, right? Except for this does not mean I play. This is juice, okay, which is a different word. It's close, but it is not right. Jugar is a stem changer, a boot verb. When we learn new boot verbs, we'll always see this in parentheses until we've practiced with it for a while and we're familiar with how it works. In the parentheses, it will mark one letter that is within the stem, in this case U, and it will denote that it changes to another couple letters, in this case a U and an E. Let me show you how this works. So jugar, a U to UE stem changer, and we want to say I play instead of just to play. So step one, we start with the infinitive, just as we did before. But the next step, normally we chop off the AR, and we still do. The AR is gone. However, you'll note that right here, the U within the stem has changed from a U to a UE, right? So now we have, instead of who, we have hue. So hug to jueg. And then we add our appropriate yo form ending and we get juego. Yo juego would be I play. Yo juego, I play, and this change continues in lots of these, let's see, 4 of the 6 conjugations. Tu juegas, we have the UE instead of the U. It followed our stem changing rule there. Él, ella, usted juega. Once again, the U in this stem has changed, but note, our verb endings are the same. We're still chopping off the AR. We're still adding our AR verb endings. The only thing that is different is that we need to make a spelling change to the verb stem. Next one up, we've got nosotros jugamos. Now look what happened. We did not change it in the nosotros form. We have juego, juegas, juega, jugamos. No jue in that one. Vosotros, no change. Vosotros jugáis, y'all play, no change there. And then finally, ellos, ellas, ustedes juegan. Once again, we see our stem change. We call it a stem changer, of course, because the stem has changed. They also call it a boot verb, and this is why. If I can sort of trace this around for you, if you follow my cursor, you can see that the shape it makes, if you trace it around, kind of looks like a boot, right? These forms change, and these two forms do not. Okay, so this altogether sounds like yo juego, I play. Tu juegas, you play. Él juega, he plays. Nosotros jugamos, we play. Vosotros jugáis, y'all play. And then finally, ellos juegan, they play. We'll try another one here. We have querer, which is to want. It is an E to IE stem changer, and we're going to work this the same way we had jugar. We chop off the ER, because that's our first step, right, to chop off the ER off of the infinitive, and we're left with QUER as our stem. However, we see here that the E in the stem needs to change to IE. Now, it's not this E, because this E is gone. Remember, it gets chopped off. The spelling change here applies to this letter that is within the stem. Okay, so don't try to turn this E into an IE. This is the verb ending that gets chopped away. So we can see here that this E right here is still there, but it's been changed to an IE. Instead of quiero, we get quiero. Quiero, yo quiero, I want. Tu quieres, you want. Él, ella, usted quiere. And now that we're outside of our boot, right? Now that we're outside in these two forms, the stem change has stopped. We now have queremos, no IE. Vosotros queréis, no IE. And then back to ellos quieren. I want, you want, he wants, we want, y'all want, they want. So good, that was the sum up for our stem changing verbs. We have a couple irregular yo forms. I find these to be both harder and easier because on one hand you have to memorize them, and on the other hand they're only weird in one form. The three verbs that we're going to work with principally in Spanish 1 that are irregular in the yo form is hacer, which is to do, as in hacer la tarea, to do homework. Ver, as in ver televisión, to see, or we would say to watch TV. And then salir, to go out, like salir con amigos, to go out with friends. These conjugate completely normally in all other forms, except for the yo form. In the yo form, instead of, right, we would normally chop this off and just add an O, and it would give me like yo hako or something like that. That's not right. Doesn't sound good. So we say yo hago. This is also sometimes called a go verb because it's got a go on the end, like a lot of verbs do. Ver, to see, we don't just chop this off and add an O to make it vo. We say veo, yo veo. And then salir, to go out, it's another go verb. We chop off the IR. Instead of just adding an O as we normally would, we add a GO, which is salgo. So hago, veo, and salgo. Like I said, there's no pattern to this. This is something you simply need to know, and we'll let you know in the unit if that's a verb that we should be using. Finally, we have completely irregular verbs. These are the real troublemakers in Spanish world. We have ser, to be, which is the first verb that we learned, and then we have ir, which is to go. These simply, guys, just need to be memorized, and this is probably why we start with these verbs. Ser, to be, is soy, eres, es, somos, sois, son. I am, you are, he, she is, we are, y'all are, and they are. Ir, which is to go, we have voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. So that does sort of follow our AR verb ending structure, but this is I go, you go, he, she goes, we go, y'all go, and then finally they go. And that is the pith of irregular verbs.